Travel leaders, welcome back to my channel. We are back in Ogle. That's the Ogle bypass road looking north towards the east coast. And then here, that's Ogle Airport. That's the Ogle Airport complex. It's a tiny airport. You can see an airplane just turned around, heading. Those white wings, that's an airplane just turned around, heading southwest on the runway. And here we are headed south on the East Coast Bypass Road. Now, as we've seen, they've actually added pavement, asphalt, to the entire stretch of the north or rather southbound lane on this Ogle Bypass Road. Last time we were here, they hadn't yet paved it fully. This section had been paved, but it hadn't been fully paved, so that's in progress. What remains to be done is, of course, the median. They've added some street light poles. See, those street light poles have been added to a portion of the median, but not to the entire median. And then, of course, the shoulder of the road here still remains to be seen what they're going to do. Now, in this video, what I want to show you is an update on the new Ogle AC Marriott Hotel, which is straight ahead, right? This is the plane taking off, the one that was taxiing, now taking off from Ogle. So, it's a regional airport here. Planes come in from the Caribbean and from hinterland regions in Guyana. Again, as I pointed out in the last previous video, that is today, they've added some new signs. As you can see, they've added some new information signs. They got the colors right. Information signs are green and white. However, the size of the letters, the font size, is impossibly small. You can hardly read it. So you can see the sign says Eccles. Eccles you can read, but what does the rest of the sign say? It's difficult to read if you're driving. It says Eugene F. Correa International Airport, OGL. And it's not the right size. It does not meet international standards. And people think you're joking when I point this out. This is important because there are people who are going to miss the sign, arrive late, and miss their flights just because the signs are not properly indicated. For some people who have no standards or don't know what standards are all about, they think this is a joke. For those of us who understand the importance of standards, understand that that is part of saving lives. This is how you value life, by paying attention to this detail. I challenge you to go anywhere else in the world and look at the signs and tell me if you see this mixed font, tiny fonts on one portion of the sign and large font in another portion of the sign. This is not acceptable. And it's not political, it's about safety. Now here's a new, I guess, artistic rendition of a bus shade, a bus stop. This is new, this has been added recently. I guess the Indians have brought some of their industrial design So these are metal chairs on a pipe frame. All right, this is a pipe frame, and they've put 2 of them. The question is, who is going to sit here and use these? Is it airport people arriving with their suitcases from the airport are going to come out here and stand waiting for buses? Probably not. But they have put 2 bus-sized bus stations, one opposite each other, the other, here on the Ogle bypass road, and they've split the lanes. In other words, they've made a stopping lane or a standing lane for buses, I assume, to pick up and drop off. But that's new, that's what's happening here. There's a curb, interesting. So a portion of this now has a curb, which they have painted white, not black and white, zebra, like the curb on the median. And there are some guardrails here. Again, a sign that somebody is paying attention to safety, because if you don't put these guardrails at the culverts, somebody's gonna run off the road, end up upside down in the canal and drown from a simple accident. So that's why safety is important. You're anticipating potential accidents. But of course, I have to patiently explain this to people who we think should know better. Like I keep saying, this is a channel for intelligent people. And a lot of the time it really is annoying to have to argue with people about what is obviously a safety issue when all they see is politics. You're criticizing their political party. Like I said, this is not about politics, this is about safety, it's about quality. We're paying billions of US dollars, taxpayers are paying billions of US dollars for this infrastructure, and most of the money is borrowed, it has to be paid back. So it's not about your political party, it's about whether in fact Guyanese are getting quality value for the money you're spending, regardless of which political party is doing the spending. This is the intersection with the entrance to Ogle. Right, this is Ogle Airport. Ogle Airport entrance. A lot of traffic now on the East Coast Bypass Road. I started looking back at the new Ogle intersection. Still a lot of work to be done on this intersection, filling in the islands and the median. And here, still more work to be done on the median, but they have added street light poles. Now this is the north end of the AC Marriott complex, and you want to see what improvements or what developments they've added since the last time we've been here. It seems as if they have now added the finishing tiles to the external aspect of the AC Marriott hotel. So the exterior finish of the main building seems to be completed. Right, the exterior finish of the main building seems to be completed. However, there is this auxiliary building that still has to be tiled. Over in the distance, that building, which I think is a residential building or an office building, still under construction, still doesn't have windows, but it has been slowly being constructed for the last 5 years or so. AC Marriott, well, they're still working on the, what is this, parking lot. This seems to be some kind of a parking area, maybe part of the entrance, the driveway up to the hotel itself. We still have to wait and see how they finish that. But this is the AC Marriott Hotel on May 27th, 2025. It's a lot closer to completion than the last time we were here. See the guys working on the inside. It's after 8 a.m. in the morning, so people are at work. What you can see is that the exterior part of this smaller auxiliary building, which I suppose will house a dining area, a convention hall, cooking and so on, kitchen, that portion of the building is still under construction. But the main building with the hotel rooms, that seems to be almost completed. All the windows have been added and the exterior tile. Now it's interesting that they chose a very dark charcoal gray, almost black tile, because in the tropics that color is associated with heat, and there's going to be a whole lot more cooling required because of the color choice. A lighter color would be cooler. It's beginning to rain, drizzle again in this area. It's still a rainy season. In the distance, you can see that is the maternity hospital, the new maternity hospital here at Ogle. And take a look at that before we leave. But here, this is AC Marriott. See, there's some guys working on the roof of this auxiliary building. Those guys are doing some construction, exterior construction on the roof of the building. This part of the building, in a, was it a sand-colored, clay-colored, red clay brick tile? That seems to be the restaurant and the what do you call it? The entrance area, lobby. So this seems to be the lobby area, but it's on the back side of the building because, as you can see, there is no entrance from the East Coast Highway. There is no entrance to the property from the East Coast Highway, so that probably is back side of the lobby. It's a narrow building, I suppose, so they're utilizing as much space as they can by extending it out to the back here. So a lot of the structures on the back end of the building is physical plant, water treatment, heat and cooling, electricity generation, backup water and power and so on. So this is what is happening here at the AC Marriott. It's almost, I would say, completed. The main building is almost completed, but it's difficult to predict how much longer it will take. So I'm going to challenge you to make your prediction in the comments below. Tell me what you think about the rate of completion of this AC Marriott hotel. When do you think it's going to be completed? And do you think it will be completed before the end of the year for Christmas 2025? But this is what's happening here at Ogle. If you want to see more content like this, click like and subscribe. In the comments below, tell me what you think about the quality of these road signs. Like I said, there seems to be no standard font size and signage, the size of the font, the size of the signage for these information signs on the highway. And that is one of my only criticisms of the quality of these highways. And of course, the reason why I criticize them is so that we can understand how they're different from international standards. We're not all satisfied with substandard work in Guyana. We don't drive or live in foreign countries
distance
only to come back
miles.
here.
Duration 2 hours 6 minutes 42 seconds. Pace 27 minutes 13 seconds per mile.
As I was saying, we don't drive internationally and live in first world countries only to come back to Guyana, the fastest growing economy in the world, where we're spending billions of US dollars, more money than we've ever seen. In other words, Guyana has spent more in the last 5 years on infrastructure since independence, and yesterday was the 59th independence. So in the past 59 years, the last 5 years, we've spent more on infrastructure because we've got more money. The economy has grown more in the last 5 years than it did in the previous 50 years, previous 54 years. And we're demanding that the quality of infrastructure that is being built meets international standards. Otherwise, what we're seeing is just corruption. The money is disappearing, but the quality of infrastructure we get isn't going to last. So that's the logic here. And I really don't care if you don't agree, if you think this is an attack on your political party, because in that case, go watch somebody from your political party who is showing you infrastructure. This is about showing you the truth, at least calling it as I see it. And I have no affiliation to any political party. But that's what's happening here, guys. If you want to see more content like this, click like and subscribe. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening in the fastest growing country in the world, Guyana. Later! That's the maternity hospital.